All right. So, how can the AVID tutorial help me prepare for future studies, for college and career? Because in AVID, our whole goal of being in this class is to make sure you all have the tools, the skills, and the reasons behind your success in both college and career. Does that make sense? So, am I sitting here saying everybody go to a 4 year college? Is some people go to a trade school? Is some people probably gonna start doing trade school work next year with like going through chat tech and stuff like that? And that's totally fine. Is that clear? There's a lot of people make trades and make a lot more than me, and I got a doctorate degree. Let's just be real. There's nothing wrong with that. But I want to make sure we have the organization for that. So one way we do the organization is through these Z notes. Again, you write your paper the big old Z. What goes on the right hand side? Drawing. And what does the drawing correlate to? The notes you took on the left side, right? And on the top you have the title. And what's today's title for your lesson? The AVID tutorial. And then your essential question learning target is what today?
How can the AVID tutorial help me prepare for future studies for college and career?
Y'all sound so good together and stuff. That's beautiful. All right, yeah. How can the AVID tutorial help prepare for future studies in college and career? So let's go ahead and talk about the AVID tutorial. Now, this is what's going to happen since for everybody knows what we do when we do our tutorials. Everybody follow me so far? Yes? And keep in mind, every teacher does things a little bit different. This is what I find that helps students the most. Does everybody follow? Okay. And again, we're walking into it. So you're gonna have this Nearpod up on the board. You're gonna be able to go use the Nearpod as you feel. Does that make sense? So you're not gonna necessarily have papers be very digital based. You're gonna be taking 3 column notes. Does everybody follow me there? You see here, you got column 1, column 2, column 3. You go down here to the bottom at the screen, you can see where you have your writing tools. Is everybody with me so far? You're gonna write down your essential question, which pretty much be the same way every time we do tutorials. Again, you should be taking notes, right? Yes. Okay. You go right to the essential question. Then you have your 3 columns. Now, this is subject to change. Does everybody follow me on that? But in general, the first column is going to be your student's point of confusion. If you understand that, say yes. Now, of course, you're going to write the student's point of confusion and maybe write their name for you know who you are. This is me checking to make sure that everybody's actively involved in the tutorial. We got that? The middle column is going to be their steps. Is everybody with me so far? So that means you have the student comes, they tell you verbally, my point of confusion is XYZ. If you understand that, say yes. They on the board, they start writing down their steps. Yep. So this, remember the steps you do in the TRF, right? You see where this comes back into play at, yeah? You write down the steps. Then in the last column is where you're gonna put down any questions you use to help guide your classmate. And those questions should be based off of what? Dum, dum, dum. It should be based off the point of confusion and where you're using to help guide those questions, though. Huh? Not necessarily. Remember, so this I'm up on the board. I'm trying to help students understand how to do the tutorial. Y'all with me so far? What kind of questions are you gonna ask me? What should you use to help guide you how to make your questions? Huh? Mm-mm. It's like something that I see only one person got on the table. Yes, your name tent. Because what's on the back of the name tent? You basically have like the Costa level question template. Is everybody clear there? So if you have it with someone math, you have certain stems to use for that. English, so on and so forth. That makes sense? Everybody take out your tents right now and look at that again, because I still don't think some of y'all even realize that that's what you're supposed to be using. And be clear, your tent better be out doing tutorials. Is everybody clear? The main thing you're gonna have out is not a whole bunch of paper. Is everybody got me on that? You're gonna have your technology out, that you're gonna have your TRF and you be doing this Nearpod in, and also your name tent. So name tent should be out where you're gonna have your name facing out for everybody can see you. And on the back, you have questions. For example, here's one for math. What is the formula used for blank? Does that make sense? Another one says, give an example of blank. So you are literally using this to help guide those questions. We want to make sure, if Ryan looks at the back real quick, we want to make sure those questions are mainly level 2 and 3 questions. Does everybody follow me there? You want to help guide them and think them through the process of level 2 and 3. When you're in a tutorial, your goal is not to give them the answer. Your goal is to help guide them to the answer. Can somebody tell me why we don't want to give them the answer? They're not learning. They're going to still have the same problem later, right? Now, also keep this in mind. By you helping guide them to the answer, you're reviewing too. Does that make sense to everybody? Are we good? It's a win-win situation. So that's what you're doing here in these 3 columns. But let me reiterate, those 3 columns about what have you put in may change over time. Is everybody clear there? That makes sense so far? Now, the reason I have you do this is because I want to make sure that everybody's actively doing something. That way someone is just not sitting there chilling. Because if you you got to be responsible for taking notes, and that Dr. Till was going to grade these notes, you're more likely to help somebody out. Does everybody follow? We good so far? Now, I know some of us are highly addicted to our technology. I get it. There's no technology being used unless it's used for the tutorial. Meaning, should anybody have earphones in their head? No, because it's not the time to listen to music. You got to be actively listening to your classmates. Does that make sense to everybody? And again, this is why I'm saying we do these things, we get the most out of our tutorials, and they actually become beneficial. We good so far with that? We good? Now, the tutorials will always be on either Wednesday or Thursday typically, because we turn our TRFs in on Tuesdays. That makes sense? The idea is that now, next thing, you should not be at the board for more than 5 minutes. Is it right clear there? So so like, you know how y'all in your groups right now, right? I got your hand. There should be one person that's a timekeeper. Is you right follow me there? This is also the reason why you're not writing every single thing in the TRF on the board. You only got 5 minutes. Now, can you go over 5 minutes a little bit sometimes? But you want to be constrained in that 5-minute time frame to make sure you get the most out of it. Which means our tutorials might take about 45 minutes or so. Then after that, we go right into study hall, and you can continue your studying, working what you got to do. What's your question? Yeah, and it's going to be here in the near pod too. The first column is going to be what is the student's POC. The middle column is going to be their steps, and then the last column is going to be the questions that you use to help guide them. Is everybody got me on that? And let me reiterate, this is subject to change. We good so far? Yes? All right. Now, again, you'll have access to this near pod. It'll also be up here on the board. Is everybody clear there? And then you just kind of make it work from there. Now, when you join the Nearpod, let me go back to this real quick. You got to give me your name, and the others also be your class period and like AVID 2A, AVID 2B. Does that make sense? That way, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a report that shows me what you did. Does everybody follow? And by dividing up by classes, I can honestly see the 45 of you guys a little bit better. We good? We good there? Okay. So, I give you 2 sheets to take notes on. Now, here's something that I alluded to that I'm going to get more in detail about. 60-second speech. You will be recording your 60-second speech directly here in the Nearpod. That way I and everybody else can see your 60-second speech. Does everybody got me on that? Which means you're going to have a camera either using your cell phone, logged into the Nearpod, or you're going to use your computer. Both is totally applicable. We good so far? You're going to do what with your 60-second speech? Record it. And if you look here at the bottom, guess what you got right here? What's this little thing at the very bottom in this little box? Video, yeah. You click that, and now you be able to record yourself. Is everybody got me there? We clear so far? Now, you want to make sure your recordings are not super huge. Does that make sense, everybody? 60 seconds. That means that's like a minute or less. Elevator speeches. Everybody got me on that? Now, what you want to do is you have options. You can upload direct from the computer where you can record it on the computer. But most of us got our cell phones, do we not? Most of you been on YouTube because y'all watch my video lectures, right? The easiest way to do this is just to record yourself in YouTube. You can make it unlisted and provide the link. Does that make sense to everybody? Is everybody clear? Now y'all see why Kazi have y'all go to YouTube so much? Yes? There's always rhyme and reason. And then you post that video here, and now you got to have that credit for that. Does everybody make sense on that? Okay. Now, if you click here on this PDF, this is also in CTLS to help you. This is how you do the 60-second speech. So this is literally a script for you, if you will. Okay. Y'all still with me? Now we're not doing now. So you got the whole weekend to look over this. Everybody clear? Y'all be doing 60-second speeches on the next tutorial. So the initial question from class is blah, blah, blah. Now, do you say the class or do you say what the class is? What do you think? So the initial question from biology is, you say your initial question. What I know about my question is, you say that. Last night, I was able to complete XYZ. Y'all follow me so far? Here is my tutorial question from my point of view of confusion. What I don't understand is, y'all follow me there, yes? And then the last one, what questions do you have to assist me in answering my tutorial question? Everybody should finish with that. Because again, are we trying to give them an answer, or are we going to ask questions to help guide them? Ask questions to help guide them. Is everybody follow? So let me reiterate. It's a little different than I used to do, but with Flipgrid going away, I had to find something. I thought this would be the easiest way for you to do it because y'all use YouTube. You click on this button right here. That's step one. If we good there, say yes. I am suggesting you go ahead and go to YouTube. Y'all with me so far? And you record yourself directly in YouTube. You clear on that so far? Say yes. Okay. Is this gonna be like a long video? 60 seconds. So if I'm up here, I'm gonna give him my phone. I'm gonna open up YouTube. I'm gonna have YouTube already open, right? Because I know I gotta do this. Yes. Is everybody with me? I'm gonna open up YouTube. Okay, I got a lot on my phone, so give me a second.
I have a question.
Let me get this thought out of my head. But I got you, okay? Open up YouTube. Y'all with me so far? Go to the plus button on YouTube, right? And that's where you're gonna have the record, just like how we do on TikTok and IG. Does everybody got me on that? Yes, we good so far. I record myself, I do the video, right? I make this unlisted. Is everybody clear? I am not asking you to let the whole world see your TRF 60 seconds, okay? Make it unlisted. Does everybody got me on that? Does everybody hear me? Make it what? Unlisted. Then put the link right here, and then we'll be able to see your 60-second speech. Does that make sense to everybody? Now, by you doing the YouTube, you now also going to have an active record of you seeing yourself, and you can. And the reason I got you doing the recordings, for you can see what you're doing and get better. By May, you're going to be very good with doing a 60-second speech. And I know I have some questions. You're doing a 60-second speech for this practice, and I kid you not. Does everybody got me on that? You never know who you're going to meet. Does everybody follow? And you only got 60 seconds to impress them. Y'all follow me there? So if you start practicing, be able to give a lot of detailed information quickly, efficiently, you never know you'll meet. An elevator speech means you walk in an elevator, there go LeBron James. You have a choice. Are you going to get starstruck, or you got 60 seconds to impress this person with something? Everybody know who Allen Iverson is? Okay. Okay. If you don't know who he is. All right. Allen Iverson at one point played for the Memphis Grizzlies. Everybody got me on that? I was in Birmingham for a conference. Guess who walked in the elevator? First off, dude is short. He's a baller. And then when I saw him, like, oh my God, you did this to people and this is your size? And then he walked in. I talked to him, chalked it up. Dude came to my class, right? Came to my speech and talked to my audience right after that. I had 60 seconds to tell him what was going on. And I wasn't starstruck. Is everybody got me on that? Why? Because you got to practice this. Does everybody follow? So you never know who's going to meet. Did I expect that dude to be there? Nope. But I was like, okay, I'm about to get him. I'm about to try at least. And then 2 hours later, here he comes in walking into my presentation. I'm like, hey, everybody, here's Allen Iverson. Probably never been there before. Everybody clear there? That's why we do 60-second speeches. Is everybody clear? I saw hands. Yes.
Is the reference going to be in our resources?
This right, the 60-second speech is in your resources already. So this section, 60-second speech is already in your class resources. So you definitely can. And then it's also going to be here too. Does that make sense to everybody? So this Nearpod that I'm showing you is the Nearpod you always going to use. We good there? What's your question? Yes. You do this during class. So when you go to the boards, when you do your recording, you don't do pre-recorded. Is everybody got me on that? You follow? Because one thing I'm going to look for is the classroom. So if you look around the room, you see all these whiteboards, right? I want to see again, just like I said, hey, can you record me real quick? The person records you, 1 minute, you put it back, and you keep going through your TRF. Is that right clear there? When you are done, that's when you go ahead and upload your video. Because, you ain't got no notes to take because you already did the work, right? Maybe you might want to take a picture of your board. That's about it, though, right? And then you upload your video. Everybody clear? We good so far? All right. Now, 2 more things to do. The next one we're going to do will be a 60-second synthesis. All right? A 60-second synthesis is a presentation given by a student in the advancement via individual determination, which is also known as what? AVID program that summarizes their learning on a point of confusion, also known as the what? POC. The presentation is given after the group has completed their academic conversation and collaborative inquiry process. Meaning, you gave your 60-second speech going in. Is everybody got me on that? You give your 60-second sentences going out.
So a summary.
It's basically a summary saying, okay, now this is what I have learned. This is where I now have a moment of clarity. I like to say moment of clarity. That's from Jay-Z. Sometimes y'all might actually hear me sing. I might play that song, an edited version at the end of the tutorials because y'all should be better now. Does everybody follow me there? Y'all with me so far? And guess what you're going to do with this again? You're going to record it again. 60-second what? So 60 seconds saying this is my point of confusion. 60 seconds saying this is my moment of clarity. Very clear? Dr. Tidwell will then be going and review this material to make sure, and this is how I give you that grade for the collaboration and everything else in between for the rest of the TRF. Is everybody clear there? So so these last two is part of that 30 as far as the during. Does that make sense to everyone? Yes? Okay. Now the last part is going to be your exit ticket. You're going to give me your legal name because I don't want nicknames, so make sure we're good. Legal name, today's date. Did you find the tutorial helpful? The topic of your TRF. What's one important thing you learned about tutorials today? Do you feel prepared? Did you feel prepared for tutorials? Yes or no? What will help make today's tutorials more effective? So I got me on that? So this is that reflection that you do at the end. I'm just helping guide that through to everybody, okay? We got that? So you do this when your whole group is over, is done with. Does everybody follow? We good there? Any questions so far? That is the tutorial process. How we're going to do it in class. Pretty straightforward. Y'all ask for more. So one thing the students say, okay, Dr. Tidwell, give me step by step. This is step by step, yeah? This is very step by step-ish, okay? But do you do this when you first start? You do this at the very end. Is everybody clear? This is the Nearpod. It will always be on the board when we do tutorials. When you come in, you just log in. It'll be self-paced where you can move around. I would even be walking around the classroom to help people out as much as possible. I will be utilizing my math and science backgrounds. I'm going to give you a heads up now. I'll probably just tell you the answer. If you ask the question of how, I may not be able to give you the how, but that'll be the answer. That's why I don't teach math and science. I just know how to do this stuff. But then with history and things, I'll be able to give you a little bit more details. Everybody follow? And if I don't know, I'm going to say I don't know, and we're going to look it up together. Everybody follow? We have an AVID tutor in here, even better. And then sometimes, again, like I tell everybody now, if you know you have teachers that have first period, planning period, when we do our AVID, let me know because then I can make sure I'm asking them to come down if it's possible or send you up to them or around to them. Does that make sense? I've done that in the past. That way you'll get some extra help. Remember, the whole point of the tutorial is to get y'all help and to get you good. Now, even if you have a point of confidence by the time you get to the tutorial, we still need to help everybody out. Does that make sense? And the reason I say that because sometimes, like today's Thursday, right? You roll a TRF on Monday or Tuesday. You might be good now with that tutorial, right? Or that TRF. Does that make sense? So now you might be confident, but you still go through the whole process and say now where you're confident and make sure everybody else in your group is good too. You'll be grouped into subject matters before you come in class, which is why I have the TRS do before we do it. That way I can make sure I group y'all. That way to be most efficient. Okay? Any remaining questions on this topic? Yes, sir. I'm not going to necessarily do the count of sentences. I just want to make sure I can read and say, okay, this person obviously did the work. Okay? Any other questions for the betterment of the group? So, yeah, you don't necessarily, so the videos that you have to do on YouTube, the answer is no. Nearpod allows you to do other things, so you can just have a video, like say you want to do it on your phone, you just want to upload, you can. The reason I say YouTube is I know you're going to not have to worry about the size limits, typically because YouTube's going to filter that out for you. But as long as it fits, you're good. Does that make sense on that? So I'm going to say this to y'all now right here. Wherever you decide to record your video, don't make it the best quality in the world, okay? Is that right clear there? That part because I can't get on your computer, I'm not sure. Yes, I believe that's a possibility. A student did do it before, but because I'm not positive. I don't want to say yes, I'm not positive. But again, you can record any way you want to because it gives you the option where you can just download from the computer. Does that make sense, everybody? So just as long as you got your recording there, go on by your day. Does that make sense? Let me reiterate. Keep the quality down low. Does everybody follow? Yes? Now, this may also change in how we do this because I'm trying to find alternative to Flipgrid. Is everybody clear? Flipgrid is going away, and that was the way we did it. I did it for 2 years. It was seamless. It was easy because you just recording in Flipgrid, right? It's going bye-bye. So I'm trying to figure that out. If I get the chance to figure that out, we'll move to that the option right now. This is the best one I have. Everybody follow?
Yes.
Wait, so like, let's say we're in a tutorial day, so we're gonna walk in class and then the new part's gonna be on the board.
Yep. So you know how like I have the warm-ups or whatever? It's gonna be just a QR code or the link, whatever. It's probably a QR code, and then it might have it'd be the QR code in this. That way you just log in.
So we just start filling out the columns, or we do that during the tutorial?
You do the columns during the tutorial because when you walk in, you can sign in, but you don't know who you're sitting with yet.
Oh,
I haven't given you your groups yet.
those columns, is that your point of exclusion or your partner? Like,
Your partner, who is on the board.
every single person?
So yeah, you'll be groups, and there'll be a 4. Is everybody clear there? So that means you'll be taking notes on 3 people. Does that make sense, everyone?
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna limit the groups to 4. So that means you'll be taking notes on 3 other people.
And those 3 columns things will be on each.
For each student, yeah, that you're working with. Everybody got it? Any other questions? These are good questions. Nothing's totally, I know this might be different, but we've done tutorials before, right?
Yeah.
It's just that I'm just showing you how, that way I could track it better, okay? And if you haven't realized, do I like a lot of paper? So this is kind of why it helps with that. Okay, yeah.
Is there a way we can, like for the video, is there a way we can just do it from our camera roll straight to the pod?
I am not positive.
I think so.
I'm not positive. The question is a way to go from the camera straight to Nearpod. I am not positive. Yeah, you can now. That is a Nearpod app that sometimes works good, sometimes it doesn't. I am not positive. But remember, this is something I had to pivot to when I couldn't do no more Flipgrid. So I got me on that. But again, this is a work in progress, right? It's a living situation. Changes will occur. I'm telling you that now. So please be patient, but understand this is for your betterment, okay? Any other questions? No. Okay, people. That is the AVID tutorial. So at this point, if you're doing your Z notes, what can you go to? All right, so now that is the AVID tutorial. At this point, what can you do now with your notes? What should you do?
Add a summary of what you're doing.
Yep, you should write out your summary and then do your drawings. Everybody got me on that? All right, good job, everybody.